This is a quick tutorial on how to use Vernier Graphical Analysis to create some graphs. And today we're going to look at manual entry. So when you open it up, you should get this screen. You can either choose a file to open something you've already done, or in this case, manual entry. There's also options to go look at some sample data or a user manual if you need to. Once you click on manual entry, by default, you'll get a Y and an X axis. And there are a lot of things here you can look at, but the key things are in the upper left-hand corner. This is the menu where you would save a file or open a new file or start over. Up in the upper right-hand corner, you have view options. And so this is where you can decide if you want to view a graph and how many graphs, whether you want a data table to be there or not, graphs on and off as well. And in this case, we won't be using meters, but if you had connected a sensor, you could use that. So we're just going to stick with a graph and a data table. And then the three dots can give you a few more options for a view, but you don't need that right now. In the lower right-hand corner, this is where you would connect a sensor if you were to connect one. And this slider allows you to kind of move the data set around. By default, your data set is just called dataset 1. And if you wanted to rename it, you could. And so this is going to be, a fast car or something like that, moving. And then you can also rename the columns. And so in this case, instead of X and Y, I want this to be position. For my, oops, I'm going to cancel that. For my X-axis, I want that to be time in seconds. And for my vertical axis, I want that to be position in meters. That's kind of our standard setup. So now you see that this has changed to be position over here. And if I click on that side, I can turn that data on and off for my dataset fast car. We can rename that data set. We can add a new data set or delete that data set. And down here, if we look at time, you can decide whether you want to display time or position on the bottom axis, on the horizontal axis. So for this one, maybe I also wanted to have a second car. So I'm going to add a second data set. And now you can slide over and see that we've got our fast car. We've got data set 2. I'm going to call that slow car. And again, time and position. So it kept those things there. And I'm going to slide that over, and then you see that we can kind of move around there. Now under position, you'll see you have a chance to show either both fast and slow, or just fast or just slow. So we'll start with the fast car. And I'm going to type in some times. 0 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. I guess 6 seconds is probably enough. And so we're going to start at position 0. So maybe this is at 1.5. This is at 3. This is at 4.5. You notice I'm going at a constant rate here. And then we've got 6. And we've got 7.5 and 9. So that's a nice straight line we've created there. We might, with the slow car, start at time 0, 0, and then do a similar thing for times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But for this one, maybe we'll go a little bit slower. We'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now that I've put that data in, I can go over here and turn on the slow car and the fast car. Now I've got 2 data sets showing what's going on there. Now, once we have that, there's all sorts of things we can do. We can zoom this button here that I click, zoom to all data. If for whatever reason you had zoomed in or out and you were missing something, it would show it all. And then if you click on this little button that has a graph, this is where it gives you all sorts of interesting things. You can turn on a graph legend that will tell you that red is fast car, slow is blue car, and then we're looking at position information. We can draw tangent lines. We can view statistics, which will give us averages. We can also draw curve fits. In this case, we could do a linear curve fit, and this will tell us, what the slope is and how closely it tracks to a line. You can also do areas under the curve. You can add annotations. Right? Maybe I wanted to say cars start from rest, that kind of thing. And I can drag that over here down to the bottom, just to help me. And then there's graph options, and here you can add a title, fast and slow cars, position versus time. You can decide whether you want to see points or lines or what the scaling is. So that's all stuff that you can do there. So that's graphical analysis. It gives you a lot of options quickly. And then once you've done that, you might say, well, I want to, you notice there's no print option here, and that's okay. You may want to save this, fast and slow cars. And so depending on what kind of computer, your save dialog will look like, however it does. I'll just call this fast, slow cars. Throw that on my desktop there. You can also export, and you can either export the file, the CSV for your data, or the graph image. And again, this will give you an option to do that. And once you've exported that graph, you'll be able to then open up that picture and do something with it.